Chapter 15. Women. There are two categories of womankind: wives or potential wives, and women of pleasure. The first of these are the intended mates of men, their companions and comforters, the mothers of their children, and the goddesses of their hearts. The others become their companions in carnal pleasure. They dally with them, then cast them aside, and they pass on to the embrace of other uncaring men. Each woman decides which category she will join, and that is her chosen path. Never confuse the two kinds of women, lest you eat out of your heart in sorrow and regret. It is decreed by the nature of things that womankind should fall into two groups, and each woman is to be dealt with according to the category in which she has placed herself. What kind of woman can be without a household? Only one who has cast out or has run away because of her misdeeds. Avoid the singing woman whose ways are frivolous. She is beautiful, but her beauty is like the honey in the honey pot. It attracts many flies and they pollute it. Guard yourself against the wiles of the woman from a strange country whose city and household are not known. Who are her people? What are her ways? From what has she flown? From her mother's solicitude and her father's supervision? As she leaves them to sorrow, so will she depart from you, or does she flee her own reputation? When the fleeing of a wanton woman are deadened, as the edge of an axe is deadened by constant use, she ceases to please. She becomes as the whale sailing cup passed around many times. Then she flees from the place where she is known and lays her trap among strangers, and he who asks no question takes her into his household and drains the polluted dregs that remain. Avoid the flattering woman who would beguile you with words. Shun her who repudiates women's covenant with the creating God, who casts the treasures of womanhood lightly before men. Her hand guides along the path of sorrow. Her embrace leads to the soul of desolation. She shatters the dreams of man. She is a traitor to womankind, the betrayer of womanhood. By the unclean embrace of the wanton woman, a man may be brought down to destruction. The adulteress lies in wait to suck the happiness of a family, a failure in her own home. She seeks gratification in the ruination of another. Adulterate the household of no man by lying with a woman thereof. Men do not despise a thief if he steals because he is hungry, but all men despise the adulterer who takes what is not his to vent his own lust. If you commit adultery, then prepare to flee, for men will arise against you. For if they revile not the adulterer, nor raise their arms against him, then it is a time of a nation's degradation. And all men must look to their own wives. If men fail to punish the adulterer, then they encourage the seduction of their own women. In the land of weaklings, the adulterer hunts freely, for who will oppose him? Is it not written, that which is not punished is condoned? He who accepts meekly the seduction of a woman of his household is a weakling and a coward, and unworthy of the mantle of manhood. He who turns his face and sees not the seduction of another's wife encourages the adulterers and establishes their place among the people. All men who are men are jealous of the sanctity of their hearth and home, and the righteous wrath of the wronged husband shall overwhelm the guilty ones. His is the day of vengeance, and no gifts shall appease him. The man who declines to strike a blow in defense of his home and honor is a weakling and coward. Men turn from him in disgust, or he sickens their stomachs, while women despise him. He who suffers in defending the sanctity of womanhood suffers in the cause of God, who made woman the guardian of the portal of life. In the land of real men she reigns as goddess of heart, hearth, and home. When a woman whose husband is absent displays her beauty and encourages your visit, when she arranges that there will be no witnesses and prepares her net for you, then is the hour of your manhood's trial. Depart from her house, for it is a place of evil. He who defiles the home of another cannot be justly wrathful if his own is defiled. It is not the way of a real man to defile the house of another in his absence. Only weaklings sneak around fervently to gratify their bodily lust in another's domain. If you are unfortunate and unwise enough to love the wife of another man, then degrade not that love by expressing it in dark corners like a cur. Go to the husband like a man and let events happen as they will. If you wish to be welcomed in the household to which you are in the habit of going, always treat the women folk with reserve. Thus you will not be regarded with disfavor and will be trusted by your host. If he has daughters, he will say in his heart, such a man can be trusted with my daughter's welfare, for he is circumspect and a man of honor. A man who is not prudent casts an appraising eye over the women folk, and his host is insulted, for no woman of his household is indecent. Be not bedazzled by beauty alone. A beautiful tree with gay flowers rarely bears an abundant harvest. As a fire is beautiful and useful when restrained within the fireplace, but a thing of destruction when loose, so is the beauty of a woman when not kept in restraint by virtue. The beauty of a chaste woman inspires a man to greatness and to high accomplishments, that he may possess it, but the beauty of a harlot leads him along the paths of dissipation and improvidence. Men will strive and attain great things to satisfy their desire, but will cease their efforts if they be cast at their feet. The beauty of womanhood was ordained to inspire man, and of all things it has its greatest incentive to achievement. Therefore, a woman's secrets are not to be lightly attained. The evil of the harlot is that she counters the inspiration of womanhood. Her wickedness is her cheapness. The pleasure of a harlot are of the body and exist only for the moment, to pass into nothingness like a dream. What have you given? For it is the loss of men. The vigor of manhood that bears man along the path of great things may be also a weapon in the hands of evil, but the weapon remains sheathed until placed in the hands of a wanton woman. The harlot sets her trap. The toils of the net are soft and supple. The weakling is caught easily, and even better men are caught by deceit. The soul of a man is bruised, and the power of a womanhood is weakened. The bait of a wanton woman may be seen from afar. It is attractive and alluring. The hook is well hidden. Her glance is bold. She seeks the attentions of men and spreads out her temptations. Her allurements are well displayed, for has she not had much experience? Her limbs are soft and shapely, her attire loose and inviting. Her eyes speak silently of furtive pleasures. Her bosom invites the caress of lust, her smile softens the heart, and her tongue kindles the fire of desire. The smoothness of her tongue overcomes reserve, and her soft manner closes the eyes of wisdom. She is familiar with the ways and weaknesses of men and well practiced in the gratification of their bodies. She anticipates success, for her victims are not few. She satisfies the lustful desires of the body, but how does she serve the spirit? What does she do with man's highest dreams of womanhood? Fly from her allurements and close your ears to her words of false endearments. They are well worn from practice on many. If you give heed to her languishing glances, or listen to the soft words that fall from her lips, if you yield yourself to the warm embrace of her arms, then you sacrifice your manhood at the altar of lust. If she binds you as well with a spell, when your eyes become open, you will know the meaning of shame. Poverty and slothfulness follow in the train of the wanton. Misery and remorse will be your lot. Your manliness will be sapped by dissipation. Your body, pampered by luxury and softened by sloth, will become enfeebled. Your limbs will weaken and your health depart. The glow of strength and the joy of living will be gone. There will be no tender arms to hold you with compassion, or your eyes to regard you tenderly. None to listen to your griefs with understanding, for you have chosen the path of the fornicator. Gentle women will withdraw from your presence, and not is to be wrung from the heart of a wanton, for only her body is soft. Therefore, be wise in your dealings with women, and to be wise is to be prudent and strong. Reject that which is cast before you, for it will be shared with many men. Seek only that which is desirable in its near unattainability, for it will be yours alone. Be wise and avoid the sweet enticements of the wanton and the lustful inducements of the harlot, and allow not your heart to be trapped by enchanting mirages of love. The woman who is cheap will receive many offers of silver, but none of gold. Man has many chisels wherewith to fashion the form of his immortal soul, and among them none is so sharp as the hard chisel of desire. Therefore be aware, lest in the fullness of youth you fall prey to the allurements of the wanton woman, who will cause you to degrade your manhood and cut shameful strokes by excesses she offers for your delight. She will entice you with a false sweetness, with disguises the bitter, soul-corroding drought. Her charms are delusions which will blind your eye and benumb your feelings. Drink at the tainted well if you must, but never after shall you be free of its taint, and never after shall you enjoy the pure waters of love in the refreshing fullness. How drab the wanton beside the chaste woman who stands bedecked in radiant virtue and dignified modesty, whose glory puts the brilliance of the starlit night skies in the shade. Her influence for good is among the greatest earthly powers. She molds the destinies of men in purity and wholesomeness, and in her hands the hammer strikes the chisel to fashion a form of glory. The chaste woman is soft and gentle, modest and kind. Her glance quickens the beat of all but the hardest heart, and her touch quietens the raging storms in the most troubled. Her eyes shine with womanly innocence, and she is garbed in simplicity and truth. Her exclusive kisses are sweet as the fresh-plucked dew-cooled grape, and the breath from her lips is a warmly soft perfume breeze. Close the doors of your spirit against the destructive assaults of deforming passions, and open your heart to the tenderness of love. Its pure, gentle flame shall inspire the soul to sublime heights of glory, and softly mold it into a magnificent form of perfection.